Woohoo! Transformers is back in action.
Yo, dudes, the Empire's pretty chill. Maybe you could, join it or something.
Hey everyone, Lucamus Prime here. So, it is time for a brand new movie review today, and this time it's going to be for a new film that got released this year, guys, and this film, of course, is the newest installment of one of my favourite franchises of all time, of course, which is Transformers. And that film, of course, is none other than 2023's Transformers Rise of the Beasts. So this is, of course, based on Hasbro's Transformers toy line and was primarily influenced by the Beast Wars storyline. And the film is the 7th installment in the live-action Transformers movies, serving as a standalone sequel to my favourite Transformers movie of all time, of course, which is Bumblebee. And I, of course, actually have that on me here as a Blu-ray Steelbook as well, because it's my favourite Transformers movie of all time. So, yeah, why not as a Steelbook, eh? So, and here it is. So, yeah, this is a sequel to this movie. And was directed, of course, by Stephen Caple Jr. from a screenplay by Joby Harold, Darnell Matea, Josh Peters, Enric Holber, and John Holber. So, now when it comes to how this movie was made, so following the critical and commercial success of Bumblebee, Paramount Pictures and Hasbro announced a sequel in early 2019, and Caple was hired as the director in November 2020. In 2021, Anthony Ramos and Dominique Fishback were cast in the lead human roles, and details for the film were revealed that summer in a virtual event held by Paramount. And the director of the first 5 action movies, Michael Bay, once again produced this movie. And principal photography took place from June to October 2021, with filming locations including Los Angeles, Peru, Montreal, and New York City. And they also, as well, brought back voice actors who of course, are regulars, such as my favourite voice actor of all time, Peter Cullen, reprising his role as Optimus Prime, my favourite character of all time, alongside other returning franchise regulars such as John DiMaggio and David Sobolov, and also new voice talents such as Ron Perlman as the voice of Optimus Primal, the lead of the Maximals, reprising his role from the Transformers Combiner Wars trilogy shows, and alongside others such as Michelle Yeoh, Lisa Koshy, Michaela J. Rodriguez, Pete Davidson, Coleman Domingo, Christoph Fernandez, Tongai Kirizia. And so, the film premiered at Marina Bay Sands in Singapore on May 27, 2023, and of course was theatrically released in the United States on June 9th. And of course, I saw it in the theatres when it came out in the UK. The film has received mixed reviews from critics who lamented the third act, but mostly deemed it an improvement over its 4 pre-Bumblebee installments. When it comes to my first-time reaction to this, so as you guys know, I absolutely adore Bumblebee. It's my favourite Transformers movie of all time, always will be. That's why I've got it as a Blu-ray Steelbook, and I have the first 4 Michael Bay films on Blu-ray in a Blu-ray collection as well. I refuse to buy Transformers the Trash Night, as I call it. I despise that movie. When it comes to this film, though, I absolutely loved it. Yeah, I'm not kidding, guys. I really love this movie, and I regard it as my second favourite Transformers movie in live action of all time after Bumblebee. And I had a really fun time watching this. So, now what is the movie about? So this is going to be a warning, guys. This review will contain spoilers. So if you guys have not seen the film yet, I'd highly recommend you go see it right away, because it's definitely really worth watching. A great movie. So I'm going to give you from 5 to 0. So if you guys have not seen it yet, here's the warning now. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, so the film begins with a flashback showing the homeworld of the Maximals, which of course are the advanced race of beast robots that have evolved on a jungle or planet colonised by Transformers long ago. And it comes under attack from a planet-eating dark god, of course, which is none other than Unicron. And I gotta say, guys, that even though Unicron didn't really appear much in this film because he wasn't really the main villain, of course, I'll get to in a moment, I will say that he was definitely redeemed in this compared to how he was horrendously portrayed in The Trash Night, where he was just Earth lumbering around with horns growing out of it, of course. That, in my opinion, massacred Unicron, but in this, he was treated so much better, and Coleman Domingo, who voiced him, did a really great job of portraying him. He was actually pretty terrifying in my opinion, and did a really great job. Although my favourite Unicron will always be Orson Welles, may rest in peace, and also John Lovell from Transformers Prime, but Colin Domingo, in my opinion, did a great job playing Unicron. And then he sends his henchmen, of course, which are the Terracons, and an army of Predacon drones, and they're led by the film's main villain, of course, which is Scourge. And Scourge is voiced by Peter Dinklage, guys, and I regard Scourge as my favourite voice role of his. I think he did a really great job, a very intimidating, great villain in my opinion. I mean, sure, he may not come close to Megatron in terms of being a great Transformers villain, but I think Peter Dinklage did a really great job portraying Scourge in this. So, and in this, they seek to obtain their master, the Maximal's greatest piece of technology, which is the Transwarp Key, which can open portals through space and time. And the leader of Maximal is called Appelink, I think he's called, yeah, who is actually voiced by David Sobolov in this, one of his roles in this. He sacrificed himself to allow the other Maximals to escape the planet before Unicron can devour it. And then he passes on the role of leadership to Optimus Primal, who of course is voiced by Ron Perlman in this, and Ron Perlman definitely has to have got it in my opinion. That's one of my favourite voice roles of his, and I think he did a really great job in this movie, and I'm pretty happy they got him to voice Optimus Primal in this. I think he did a really great job. I mean, my favourite Optimus Primal of all time would be Gary Chalk, but Ron Perlman is definitely a great choice for a role in my opinion. So, now under his command, the Maximals use the key to flee to Earth. Then we cut, of course, to when it was taking place in its present day, which is the year 1994 in Brooklyn. And we get introduced to the humans, of course, but the main character, of course, is Noah Diaz, who is a former soldier, played, of course, in this by Anthony Ramos. And I gotta say that while, of course, Charlie and Agent Burns from Bumblebee are my favourite human characters in the Transformers franchise's live-action movies, I will say that Noah Diaz was actually quite a good character, in my opinion. He was likeable and relatable as well in some cases, too. And definitely, in my opinion, much better than any protagonist in the Bayformers films, in my opinion. And I did also as well like Dominique Fishback as Elena Wallace as well. I thought she was good as well in this, for what she was given to, in my opinion. She was also definitely more likable than any other female characters in Bayformers too, in my opinion. But like I said, guys, no humans in the live-action movies will come close to Charlie Watson and to Agent Burns, in my opinion. So Noah Diaz, of course, is struggling to find a job for his family, and he's convinced by his friend Reek to commit Grand Theft Auto and steal a Porsche to sell, but he discovers that the car is actually, of course, an Autobot, and the Autobot is Mirage. And Mirage is, of course, voiced by Pete Davidson, and I gotta say, he was actually really funny, in my opinion. Like, I actually really liked Mirage, he was great comic relief and was just really funny. And I like how we got to see his powers, such as, like, his holograms and stuff like that. That was actually pretty cool. And although I kind of wish he used his Formula 1 race car as his alternate mode, but we do briefly see it as an alternate choice, but I kind of feel that his Porsche alternate mode was too similar to Jazz 4, in my opinion, from G1. I think I would have preferred it if they used his Formula 1 design, but his robot mode, though, when he transformed, was actually pretty good, though. Pretty close to G1, though. So this key is actually inside an ancient statue of a falcon with a Maximal symbol on it, and Alina is at a museum, and she breaks it open to reveal half of the transport key hidden inside, and this causes an energy pulse to be released, which is seen by, of course, Optimus Prime. And Peter Cullen, the absolute legend, my favourite voice actor of all time, reprised his role in this, and he once again gave an amazing performance and was by far, in my opinion, the best part of the movie. Like, no matter what I think of anything Transformers, if Peter Cullen's in it, he's always going to be the saving grace, no matter how good or bad it is, in my opinion. Peter Cullen, you know, a perfect casting for Optimus Prime right there, and he's still got it to this day, of course. Like, he's an absolute legend, the man himself. So, Optimus summons your Autobots, so Mirage included, of course, and he takes Noah with him in the middle of the attempted theft, of course, and other Autobots also join too, such as Bumblebee, and who retains the same design he had, of course, from the Bumblebee movie, and turns into a 1970s Chevrolet Camaro. And we also get to see RC as well. And RC is now voiced by, of course, Lisa Koshy, no longer voiced by Greg Griffin from Bumblebee or Revenge of Fallen. But I gotta say that Lisa was actually quite a good choice, in my opinion, for RC, nonetheless. And so So the Autobots meet up, and Optimus isn't happy about there being a human there, but of course, Mirage ends up forming a bond with Noah, and so Noah ends up being roped into a mission to recover the key so they can use it to return to Cybertron. So, unfortunately, however, when they of course get to a museum to get the piece of the key, the Terracons arrive on Earth, and Alina is caught in a conflict when villains attack outside the museum. We get a pretty good fight scene between the Autobots and the Terracons, but this unfortunately leads to a bad quality I do have with the movie, of course, and so in the trailers, I was getting a bit concerned when I noticed that Bumblebee didn't really appear much, and this was the reason why, because unfortunately, spoiler alert guys, because like I said, this does contain spoilers, I really hated how, during the fight, Scourge ended up killing Bumblebee. So I was disappointed about that. I was not happy, because Bumblebee is my second favourite Transformer of all time behind Optimus, and considering how much I loved him in this Bumblebee movie that he was in as a main character, I hate how he was killed like that. But, thankfully, however, towards the end of the movie, I'll have good news for you, of course, because, thankfully, this death isn't permanent, so yeah, and you'll know why later on. So Scourge unfortunately steals half of the key, and, however, though, we do get, of course, the Maximal Air Razor arriving to drive him off, and she was, of course, voiced by Michelle Yeoh in this, and Michelle Yeoh was definitely really great in this, in my opinion, as her. And that's probably my second favourite voice role of hers, behind the Susei in Kung Fu Panda 2. I think she was definitely great in this as Air Razor. She explains to the Autobots that the Maximals had been hiding on Earth for thousands of years, and they split the transwarp key in two to keep out of Unicron's hands. And despite this danger, Optimus is insisting that the key be reassembled so the Autobots can use it to return home. But Noah, however, wants to destroy the key to keep his world safe. So, Alina's studies allow her to predict that the other half of the key must be located in a hidden temple in Peru. So the group heads there on board an Autobot plane, and that plane, of course, is Stratosphere, who's, of course, voiced by John DiMaggio in this, and John DiMaggio was actually really good in this, and I definitely really liked him in this. And that's probably, in my opinion, one of his most unique roles I've heard. It's actually quite hard to tell it was John DiMaggio, to be honest. I couldn't tell it was him, really, you know, when I heard it. I knew it was him when I looked up the cast for the film, but his voice was hard to recognise, though, when he voiced Stratosphere, though. So, they go to Peru, and on the flight there, Optimus is insisting that he can bring back Bumblebee. He doesn't want to, you know, he doesn't want to lose Bumblebee. He wants to bring him back, so, yeah. But it's a shame that he got killed, well, like I said, I was disappointed about that. So in Peru, they meet up with an Autobot who is there, and that's, of course, Wheeljack. Now, unfortunately, we get to know bad quality I do have in this film, because, personally, I didn't really like the design for Wheeljack, to be honest. I think it was pretty weird, and I also personally didn't really like his voice either, which, of course, was voiced by Christoph Fernandez. Like, personally, I think he was a miscast as Wheeljack, and I don't understand why they couldn't bring back Steve Blum from Bumblebee, because in this film, guys, Wheeljack was way more faithful to G1 in terms of his appearance, and he had a very weird design of his, like, wearing glasses too, like in Darker Moon. Like, really? Like, why not retain the amazing G1 design he had from the first Bumblebee movie? So, yeah, I wish they used his G1 design and they got Steve Blum back to voice him, so yeah, I was disappointed about that. So that's one of our qualities with this. So when they're in Peru, so Noah and Alina go into a temple, but they unfortunately discover that half of the key is not there. The Terracon's been attacked again, and we get another pretty good battle, and you can definitely tell in these fights that Optimus really wants to kill Scourge in this because of what he did to Bumblebee. So I love how Optimus was eager to avenge his friend. So yeah, and unfortunately as well, when it comes to Air Razor, she unfortunately gets corrupted by Unicron's dark energy when Scourge grabs her. So unfortunately, they're not going to be getting away from the Terracons just like that, really. And after this, the Autobots then encounters Optimus Primal, who of course also encounters Noah and Alina when we come onto a temple. And that's of course the scene from a trailer, of course. And the other Maximals also arrive, so we get to see Cheetor and also Rhinox as well. Rhinox was also voiced by David Sobolov, and also and Tongai Chiriza also played Cheetor as well, and they were good in my opinion, what they were given. And so the Maximals then take them to a village sort of place, and it's revealed that that they've moved the second half of the key there, and they've trusted to the humans who they've worked with over millennia. So yeah, it looks like the Maximals are the first type of Transformer to actually interact with humans. So yeah. Unfortunately, when it comes to Eraser, Scourge's corruption and overtakes her, and it makes her go mad. So that was a big shame. So Primal is unfortunately forced to kill her to save Alina, which is definitely very sad. But it shows you how great of a villain Scourge is, though, really. And because of this, Noah wants to destroy the key because Alina nearly got killed. But then Scourge arrives and steals it. And then he goes to a volcano and he reassembles the 2 pieces of the key. And it opens a portal through which Unicron will soon arrive. So, and seeing where their self-serving motives have led them, Optimus and Noah agree to work together to defeat the enemy forces. So, and then we get a really epic battle where the Autobots and Maximals fight the Terracons and Predacons. It was really a lot of fun and to see, and the visuals in this were beautiful as well, in my opinion. Definitely way better CGI than the Trash Knights visuals, in my opinion. Those visuals for 2017 film were absolutely appalling compared to this. Thankfully, the visuals in this were so much better. So while this fight's happening, Noah and Alina sneak through like some sort of like vent thing to get to a transwarp key, and we plan to deactivate it with an access code that Alina has uncovered. Unfortunately, of course, Mirage is distracting Scourge with his holograms, but unfortunately Scourge sees through this, and he's also able to spot Noah in the vent and pulls him out. Mirage then, however, sacrifices himself to protect Noah by blocking Scourge's attack to Noah by letting himself get hit by the blasts. He then, however, is able to transform his damaged body into an exosuit for Noah to wear so they can fight together. And that reminded me a lot of the Headmaster's storyline in G1, where, of course, where Daniel got to wear an exosuit, which was pretty cool as a Headmaster. That was actually a nice little nod to that. And unfortunately as well, of course, the portal opens and Unicron appears, and then the key releases an energy pulse which activates a dormant energon deposit beneath the valley, which we of course are told by Primal is inert and won't react, but it comes to life with its pulse and it's able to resurrect Bumblebee. So I'm so glad they brought Bumblebee back. If they'd have killed off Bumblebee, I'd have probably given this movie a lower score and probably ranted about it, but thankfully, Bumblebee gets brought back, so that's kind of why I do prefer this movie slightly over Darker Moon, because that film, of course, killed off Ironhide left and right into film like it's a Bumblebee, but the difference is Ironhide was unfortunately permanently killed because he got turned to rusty dust, whereas Bumblebee, however, gets brought back, so that's why I do prefer this film, because it brought Bumblebee back. And Bumblebee, he gets into action, he jumps out of stratosphere and he joins in a really epic fight. And with good use of 90s music as well in the scene too, which was great. And then we get to see an epic fight between Optimus and Scourge, and Optimus is able to defeat Scourge, and it was actually really pretty good. I was rooting for Optimus, and when he killed Scourge, I clapped. But unfortunately, their fight ends up destroying the key's control console, meaning it can't be shut down. So Optimus wants to sacrifice himself and destroy the key and collapse the portal. However, though, Noah and Primal were able to save him, and they're able to. And what I love is how they both said the catchphrase "Till all are one." I definitely love that. And with regards to music in this, the music in this was great, composed by John D. Bontemps, and I love the music in these Transformers films, and I especially love how when they're able to escape from the vortex, they actually included Arrival to Earth in this movie, in the music, and I definitely love that. So that was definitely a great battle, and a great way to end it right there, how the team came together, and of course, till all are one. So, after they, of course, return home, Alina receives recognition for discovering the temple, and Noah is able to attend an interview, and now this is a part which I thought was, pretty interesting, but is sort of something that I think is quite questionable, because this links to a franchise I'm not really a fan of per se, but not just yet, because I might probably get into it, because He attends an interview for a security job, but he's actually being invited to join a secret organisation. And that secret organisation, guys, is none other than G.I. Joe. So, it looks like they're going to be doing a crossover that many fans wanted between Transformers and G.I. Joe. So, looks like it's happening, and I guess that's great for the fans who want that, so I like how they paid attention to the fans who wanted that, but now, I'm going to say, guys, I'm personally so far not a fan of G.I. Joe because I've not seen the cartoons or anything like that, and I've only seen the movies being Rise of Cobra and Retaliation, not good in my opinion, and I refuse to watch that Snake Eyes prequel spin-off, because I heard that film had very bad reviews, and based on what I heard about it, I don't want to watch it. But I might watch the cartoons to get into a franchise, though, if they're going to be doing a sequel which will cross over with G.I. Joe, though. And then, of course, we get a mid-credit scene during the credits where it's revealed that Noah is able to repair Mirage. So, yeah, that was definitely nice to see Mirage back in action. So, and that's where the movie ends, guys. So this film was great, guys. I definitely really love this movie. And definitely my second favourite movie in the franchise after Bumblebee. Only those by quarters I mentioned, such as Bumblebee getting temporarily killed off, but thankfully being brought back later on. And, of course, as well, in my opinion, Wheeljack was a bit of a miscasting, in my opinion. But nonetheless, though, doing this film was great, and I had a really fun time watching it. So yeah, I definitely really enjoyed it. So if you guys are a fan of Transformers, I'd recommend this. So yeah, if you guys were wondering what I'd give this movie out of 10, well, because of those feedback qualities I mentioned, I'll probably give it a very solid score of 9 out of 10. That's what I'd give it, because I think it's a great movie, and I definitely would recommend it if you guys love Transformers, because it family keeps the spirit of G1 on in many cases too, and also, thankfully, unlike the Transformers films, it actually gives more screen time to the Transformers themselves, which I really appreciated. And because, thankfully, in this, they also gave the villains more screen time as well, compared to, of course, Darker Moon, for example, in which Megatron unfortunately barely appeared. Speaking of that, though, when it comes to Megatron, though, unfortunately, I think another bad quality driver is also there was no Decepticons in this movie as well. I think that was disappointing, but nonetheless, I still love the Terracons in this. They were great villains. But thankfully, in this, they gave Scourge lots of screen time, and of course, his henchman being, of course, the Enforcer Battle Trap, and also, as well, Nightbird, as well, was in this too, as well. So yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun, and in my opinion, better than the Bayformers films, so yeah. So guys, this medium my review for Transformers Rise of the Beast, the new Transformers film from this year. So you know, drill guys, be sure to give this video a like. Also, be sure to put in the comments what you guys think of Transformers Rise of the Beast, if you've seen it on console, what you think of it. Also, be sure to join Team Prime by pressing subscribe if it will come in future. If you'd like to be a member, you can restore using a piece or description, and till all are one.